Hey guys, Griffin, Caroline here.
What's up?
Hello, Caroline. And we've got some absolutely essential tips for Generation Zero. We're going to be showing you where to get some powerful weapons early, how to take down the robots making your life a misery, and generally how to get off to the best possible start. Before we get cracking on all that though, Caroline, what exactly is Generation Zero? Because I'll admit, when I first started this game, I had no idea what I was meant to be doing.
Yeah, well, Generation Zero is a sandbox survival game, as you said. You can play it alone and offline, or group up with 3 others online, and your aim is to run around the world looting gear, all while killer robots are on the prowl. It's pretty stripped down, like there are no NPCs giving missions or a hunger or thirst meter, but that's why we've got a guide for you to help you on your journey. Let's take a look.
Before you do anything, there are 2 weapons you should definitely grab. The first is the Hunter's Rifle, which lets you take out enemies at range, and that's going to come in very useful in the rolling hills of Sweden. For the Hunter's Rifle, you have to follow the road from the starting area until you come to this car. Search the car for a note and it points you to his house. Head in the house and you'll find the rifle here and various ammo boxes scattered around. Watch out for the robots outside and make sure to grab a scope from the garage to increase your viewing distance. The second weapon you don't want to miss is the shotgun. It's located in the church, which is here. Head up the stairs to the bell tower and grab it for yourself. Now you're armed with both close range and long range options and you probably feel pretty lethal.
Generation Zero doesn't explain itself much at the best of times. It's got mission objectives and tutorials in the log and all that stuff, but they're not always that clear. Like, there was a time right at the start where the game was telling me to search the church. That's it, and I'd already searched the church, but it turns out I miss interacting with a whiteboard. The objective rarely explicitly tells you the exact destination, so my advice would be to not worry that the objective isn't updating or that you've missed something. Just accept the waypoints are kind of vague. Saying that, there are the occasional glitches. Later on, the game was telling me to clear all the enemies at the farm, and I did that, but the mission didn't progress. There's a simple way around that if this ever happens to you though, and that's to kill yourself. You'll just spawn back at the safe house with all your loot, and the enemies will have reset. It's the only time dying is a viable tactic.
The world is full of robots waiting to punch you into oblivion, but there are a few tips we can give you to take them down. Firstly, depending on where you shoot them, they'll break apart differently. Remember, there is bullet drop to account for. So, with these dog bots, one shot to the fuel tank will explode them instantly. You can also shoot off their gun and put them into melee mode where they just run around kicking you, which is only really ideal if you can hide in a house. Oh yeah, that's another thing, hide in a house. The robots can't come in. I actually love that they can wipe out the whole of the human race, but they can't open a door. And just a word on difficulty scaling, there is no scaling in the game. It's more that the further you travel into the island, the bigger the robots get. So don't travel too far inland until you have some good gear and character upgrades under your belt. Speaking of which, here's Caroline with some stealth tips.
Yep, here's where we talk about stealth. And the first character upgrade we recommend grabbing is spotting. This lets you scan enemies to see their health bar, which is really useful because it gives you an idea of whether you should try engaging them or not. And deciding whether to engage is central to Generation Zero. A lot of the time, being sneaky is your best option. So if you want to make yourself scarce, one of the best ways is using boomboxes. You can find these quite easily around the world, and if you drop one, it'll lure enemies over so you can kind of bait them into traps. Like the little trap I like to call Fuel Tank Go Boom. It's pretty self-explanatory. Fireworks work a bit differently. They stun the robots so you can get away. Bye-bye! Also, rain is your friend in this game, because the sound of rain will muffle your footsteps. Finally, foliage will also conceal you, so make sure to duck inside a nice bit of shrubbery when enemies are nearby.
In Generation Zero, you can jump in and out of people's games, but how does that work exactly? Well, going off our experience and what developer Avalanche says in its Discord channel, the main host of a game will always save mission progress. The state of the world is based on where the host is at in the story, but if you're a guest, your progress will save if you're either at the same place in the story as the host or further on. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like your mission progress saves if you join someone who's further advanced than you, which is kind of weird, but in every scenario, loot and experience will always be saved, so you can jump into someone's game, let them guide you to some good loot, and then take that loot back to your game. I mean, in theory. It's easier said than done with all the robots. So those were our 6 tips and tricks for how to get ahead in Generation Zero. Did these help you at all? Let us know in the comments.
Yep, and remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed what you saw. Anyway, thanks for watching and we will see you next time.